it's Rob Mills here from Rob Mills Real Estate and Century 21 Leading Edge. I wanted to just tell you today about my 8 top tips for buying in the spring. Last week we looked at selling, and today we're going to focus on buying in the spring. Step number 1 we're going to do is to interview real estate agents. When you're buying a home, you have 2 choices. You can work with a listing agent or you can work with the buyer's agent. If you're working with a listing agent, what I mean is the guy whose sign is on the lawn outside the home. His job, he's already contractually obliged to get the best price for a home seller. So how can he also get the best price for a home buyer? Pretty tricky, right? So I recommend that you hire a buyer's agent, somebody who's going to focus on your needs, your wants, and your expectations, making sure they're contractually obliged to give you the best deal rather than the seller in a transaction. Number 2, we're going to look at mortgages. You have a few choices with mortgages. You could go into your local bank and speak to the person on the counter. They'll be able to give you some advice and be able to tell you what you can qualify for. When you're looking at pre-qualification, you need to be very careful exactly what's going on, because when you get if you go into a bank, sometimes they'll just say, hey, yeah, your buying power is about 500,000. But they don't do a real pre-qualification. They don't look at your all your income statements and all your loans and everything like that and make sure that they're actually qualifying you for buying a home. You go out, you find the home of your dreams, and you find out you really can't qualify for that home because they really didn't know the homework. What I recommend you do is you go to a mortgage broker or a mortgage specialist. Mortgage specialist works for a particular bank. So, for example, if you're with a TD and you want to really work with a TD, the mortgage specialist will be able to get the best deal at that bank, and they'll be able to qualify you properly. A mortgage broker will be able to give you options from other banks as well as just one. So if you find there's a better deal at CIBC or RBC or even other banks not on the high street you maybe never even heard of, but they're the best rate and best deal for you, then a mortgage broker will be able to put you in touch with that deal, make sure you're getting the best option when you're buying a home. When you're looking at mortgages, there is not just interest rates that you want to look at, it's also the terms that go with it. Depending on what your needs are, you want to make sure that they're addressed too. So for example, if you're going to buy if you're going to want to move again in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to have different needs than if you could plan to be there for the next 20. So again, those are questions that you want to ask a mortgage specialist or a mortgage broker about, and again, make sure they get a mortgage that's tailor-made to your needs. The next step we're going to look at is other budgeting issues. So you've got your mortgage budgeted for, but what closing costs are you going to need? So you're going to need a down payment. You're going to need a deposit. The deposit comes from your down payment, but it binds the deal when you find the right home. You're going to have other closing costs such as land transfer tax. You're also going to have utilities fees and a few other additional costs, things that you don't think of when you first set out on that home buying process. So make sure you find out what those costs are going to be and budget accordingly. Make sure that money is set aside for closing day. Step 4, you're going to get some knowledge. So you definitely don't want to be going out and buying the first home you see. You want to go see a few different homes in a few different areas. You're going to find out what area is best for you. You're going to find out what different home prices offer in different areas. So this ties into number 5. Areas. You might find that you start off looking at one particular area and buying another because it offers more of what you need. So when you're looking at areas, you want to look at what your needs are today and in the future for the next few years that you plan to be in that home. So yeah, today you may need close access to highways, to public transit, but you also want to consider maybe you're going to start a family. You may want to look at schools in the area or what the school's like in that area. Are they close by? How the kids going to get to school if that's what happens in the next few years. You're also going to look at shopping. Is there a grocery store close by? How easy is it to get to? Are you going to need an extra car or other public transport to get to the grocery store? You're going to need things like clothing, etc. Where's the nearest mall? Is it suitable for what your needs are today and again in the future? So these are all things that you want to look at when you're looking at area. You also, when you consider area, you definitely want to consider commute. Are you planning to be in the job that you're in for a long time? Maybe you're looking at a change in the near future. Again, that should come into your thought process when you're looking at the areas that you're looking at. And number 6, we're going to negotiate, find the home of your dreams, the location that you're looking for. Now we're going to get the best price. So when you negotiate, you're going to be able to negotiate a few things. One, of course, price, the price that you pay for that home. But the other things that you can negotiate are what comes with that home. So the chattels of fixtures that are included in the home, what's going to stay and what's not. You can negotiate the deposit you put down on the home, and you can also negotiate the conditions that you put on the home, such as closing date, home inspection clauses, financing clauses, and any other clause that suits your needs and what your wants are for that particular home. Once the buyer and the seller agree on all the terms and the price, then we have a firm deal. We can move towards closing date. Before closing, there's a few things we want to do. So first thing you want to do is to satisfy all the conditions that you put down on that contract. So we're going to look at mortgages. You need to get your final approval done. When you do the mortgage approval, the first step is getting you approved. The second step is getting the home that you pick approved. The bank is going to want to know that you paid a price that's the right price for that home, and they're willing to lend you the money for that home on. The other thing that you need to do is the home inspection. You need a home inspector to come out and look at the home, make sure that it's in good condition, and any other terms that are part of that deal as well. Before closing, you're going to do a final walkthrough, make sure the home's in the same condition it is that you bought it, and then you're going to hire a lawyer who's going to conduct the final closing of the deal. They're going to make sure the money's in place at the right time so that they can close the deal for you. They're going to make sure there are no liens on the home, to make sure there's some loans that have not been paid for, say, building work that's been done, new floors, whatever they put in on the home. Make sure it's all been paid off and there's no liens that are going to come back and haunt you further down that has not been disclosed. Once all that's been done, you move to closing day, the money's in there, finally get your keys. A few things we need to look at here as well. So you want to look at getting the utilities moved into your name before closing date. So you've got the power on, you've got water, you've got a hydro, you can heat the home, you can cool it, and you can drink. And you're also going to look at moving truck. So you're either going to hire a moving truck or you're going to hire a moving company to move your belongings. And once you've done all that, you get the keys, you're moving in, and it's happy day. Congratulations, you bought a home. And they're my 8 top tips for buying a home in the spring.